I gotta give y'all a follow-up video how I went from 0 to over 6 figures in reselling on eBay in 2 years on a part-time basis. I didn't allow it to take over my life. Super important about reselling, and especially reselling on any of these platforms. Don't let it take over your life. The follow-up video that I want to give you guys today, more along the lines of what categories did I sell this stuff in? Where did I find the stuff that I sold to do these kind of numbers? Please understand, ain't nothing guaranteed in reselling. You never know if you're going to even sell any of this stuff. We can walk and talk. My name is Eric. I'm a full-time reseller. I've been a full-time reseller for about 20 years. Wow. I own a brick-and-mortar vintage store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin called BC Modern. We were voted one of the best vintage stores in Wisconsin. I love reselling. I've been reselling, like I said, for 20 plus years. Well, let's dive into this. Let's look at this dust on here. 2002, I sold 479 items. Average selling price was $97.29. I'm gonna give you a list of the top 5 categories that I sold in. Grand total for sales for that year was $46,604. That was part-time. I was doing that on the 1 to 2 day concept. If you haven't seen that video, go back, take a look at that video. These are the categories that I was able to sell in. Number 5 category is collectible. So anything collectible. So when I say collectible, that could be like, you know, these are collectible. This glassware might be considered collectible. So collectible could be a very, very wide range of stuff. It wasn't a big performer for me in 2022. A collectible, like, kind of range of stuff, I sold $1,714.01. It wasn't a huge money maker for me in categories, but it shows me that vintage stuff still does sell. I just didn't put a big enough focus on it for 2022. My next category is number 4, and that's toys. One thing about toys, I love toys, so it's not just one thing about toys. Toys are one of the most consistent categories in the vintage and resale business, in my opinion. You see a lot of stuff go up and down, but toys pretty much, they'll stand their ground. Toys are super consistent in the resale business. If you've never heard it before, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're gonna hear me say it more than one time in videos from me. Toys are one of the most consistent things to resell if you're selling vintage stuff. $2,353 part-time basis selling vintage toys on eBay. Number 3 for 2022, antiques. Anything that's 100 years or older. Look at this tree. Y'all see that? Is it focusing for you? You know where that's going with the box. I'm going to try my best to not sugarcoat it and keep it attainable. I think people overcomplicate resale. It breaks down into categories, subcategories. What did you pay for it? What can you sell it for? What's the demand? These things, they do sound like they can be complicated, but when you understand certain basics, like toys are very consistent, right? I just told you this. If you understand that, you start to buy with that in mind, and you start to refine your eye to buy better and better stuff. 2022, to do almost $50,000 by reselling on eBay, I focused on finding quality stuff and selling it through an online auction. My goal was to make sure that every month, however hard I worked on eBay, I made sure that I was finding the best of the best for that. If it meant I passed on certain stuff, I did, because I had to make sure that I kept that average as high as possible. To keep a $97 average through 12 months is extremely hard, especially when you're only doing it at a 1 or 2 day basis. Our number 2 category for 2022, a total gamble. It was literally basically the bulk of the number comes down to one item. The number 2 category for 2022 was camera. I sold one really good camera in 2022. And it was a vintage camera. It was made by a company called Leica. Put an example up here for you to take a look. That camera was an absolute home run. I got over $5,000 for that one camera, bringing the total of sales for 2022 for cameras to almost $5,800. I found, hold on, let me put this stuff away and I'm gonna get another box and then I'm gonna tell you how I found the camera. So I find this camera at a garage sale. That's the kind of stuff that gets you up every day. There are a lot less stories of people finding, $100,000 item than there are, people finding $1,000 items, $1,500, $2,000, $500, $200, $10,000. I paid $300 for it. Now that's a lot to pay at a garage sale. I didn't know it was as good as it turned out to be. I stuck it on eBay. We started it at 99 cents and it sold to the highest bidder. Top number one selling category for 2022 turned out to be sports memorabilia. They're still going. What's interesting about the fact that it's sports memorabilia, I made it a conscious effort to only resell sports memorabilia that I thrifted. Did y'all hear me? I sold $8,271 worth of sports memorabilia in 1 year on a part-time basis, and I thrifted all that stuff. That means I went to a thrift store, I went through the racks, I went through the cases, and I found stuff, all from thrift stores. I never want anybody to get on my videos and be like, oh, well, he gets stuff from houses, he can do it that way. Do I buy stuff directly from estate owners and private collections? Absolutely. I would love to do that every day. The reality is those calls don't come every day. If they do come every day, it may not be stuff that I want. I'm not gonna just buy things just because that's my preference and how I like to shop. If things are for sale, I'm trying to be there. I don't care if it's a thrift store, a flea market, an estate sale, a garage sale, a rummage sale, an antique store, an antique mall. I don't really care. If it's for sale, I'm trying to be there. Sports memorabilia was my top performing category in 2022. $8,271 part-time. Let's get to 2023. 2023, our number 5 top performing category was dolls and bears. And can you guess why? I'll show you. It was a Barbie. I sold a lot of Barbie in 2023. $3,189. Number 4, we took it a little bit higher up on the collectible category. So that moved from, I think it was number 5 last year, moved to number 4. We put a little bit more focus into the collectible area. Stuff like, hold on, here's another example. It's a pretty wide range when you start talking about the collectible category with making money online. It's a pretty wide range. So like even stuff like that. Lighters, it can be collectible. Pottery, it could be collectible. Toy cars, there's so many different subcategories of collectible that it's a good vintage category to focus on, is to understand time periods, the 50s, the 20s, the 40s. It'll help you to shop and buy for those exact time periods. There's a little guy. My number 3 category for 2023 was actually jewelry. I would prefer to sell gold and silver on eBay. What I like about selling gold on eBay is a lot of times you get the collectability factor of it too. So when you find old stuff, that's even better. You get the collectability factor of it. If you get any kind of provenance with it, that helps for the value of it. And obviously you get the gold value too. So you can't get that when you take it in and go get it melted. You just get the scrap value. And so the right stuff is always good to sell online. It's just how it goes. Number 2 category brings me to kind of why I'm working on sorting through a Christmas bin in January. Christmas just passed. My number 2 category was collectibles, but it was holiday collectibles. Christmas is one of those holidays that people collect all year round. You can sell this stuff all year round. So it's something that I stick online on a pretty consistent basis. It's also something that if you start to understand it, most houses they're gonna have a surplus of Christmas. Most estate sales, rummage sales, garage sales, flea markets, any place that has things for sale, besides maybe like an antique store, they're gonna have a surplus of Christmas stuff. Learn it. It's everywhere. You can sell it year round. It doesn't have to be Christmas. It's my number two category, selling part-time on eBay in 2023, Collectibles and Christmas. The grand finale. Now this box isn't too eventful. It's like the picking gods heard me. For 2023, we definitely stepped it up another notch with making money through selling online on eBay on a part-time basis. To ease back into the platform, it feels really good. It feels really natural. It doesn't feel like it's stress. It does feel like it really is a side hustle. It gave me a very similar feeling to how I felt when I had a normal 9 to 5, where I got up and got dressed and sat in my cubicle and dreamed about going home to list on eBay. Got to being able to be a full-time eBay reseller, but it burned me out because I got greedy. It's literally what it came down to. I got greedy and lost like absolute focus. The lure of the potential of making money will push you to try to do things that may not even be humanly possible for you. And they may not even be what truly brings you happiness. I've approached it with a different philosophy in the last 2 years. And I learned that philosophy from running my vintage store. When I wanted to open my vintage store, that is at the point of time where I didn't want to have my livelihood attached to any kind of money-making online platform like eBay, Etsy, Poshmark. I was over it. I really wanted to build something that would allow people to just connect with me and buy the things that I still find, and in hopes that, it would be enough to take care of my family. It proved to do that. I never stopped buying with the eBay eye. I never stopped picking with the eBay eye. When I buy entire estates, I still would put things to the side, like, oh, that's my eBay pile. That's my eBay power. But I did that for like almost 7, 8 years. And I just knew that coming back to the platform, I had to make some changes if this was going to work for me. I had to make it where it didn't take over my life. 1, 2 hours a day, 3, 4 days a week, focused on quality items, focused on, making the best use of my time in that short period of time. Don't create a machine that's just a machine that just keeps going and feeding with no purpose. I am very intentional and very purposeful with everything that I sell at this point in my career, because I only deal with the things that I actually like and the things that actually bring me enjoyment. It's a very different way of reselling that most people probably will not agree with. But for somebody like myself that's been in this industry for almost 20 years, we've done estate sales, we do buyouts, we did an auction company, we did a pawn shop, brick-and-mortar store, like online auctions. We've done all of it. I've gotten further by focusing and harnessing in on the things that actually bring me enjoyment. Everybody knows what it feels like when you're like, oh man, I don't want to buy that, but I can make X, Y, Z on it. And you're like, oh, that profit outweighs your logic on buying something. You buy it, now you got to ship it, and you like, damn, something happened, it break. There's so many variables that go into reselling that you really got to try to eliminate or limit the amount of variables that are going to affect you selling the item. My number one category for 2023 was toys. A couple minutes ago, I said toys are one of the most consistent categories. So for 2023, because I was being intentional, I said, you know what? If I want this to really ramp up, I'm gonna focus on what I like. I like toys. I like mid-century modern furniture. That's what my store is. That's what I focused on for my store because I can't ship that stuff. I like toys. I'll sell my toys through eBay. 2023, our number one category for reselling on eBay for us to make almost $70,000 in sales on a part-time basis was vintage toys, $6,282. Thrift stores put stuff out all day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. I can't even spell it out any more clear than that. For somebody that's in the business of buying and selling, I'm in a perpetual motion of buying and selling. Thrift stores are a good void for me to help pass the time, to help keep my skills sharp. And if I can make some money, whether in my store or online, by finding things there to resell, why wouldn't I take, full advantage of that? My top category in 2022 was sports memorabilia. Even if you look at 2023, a number two performer basically was collectibles and it's holiday stuff. I'm telling you, this holiday stuff is everywhere. If you learn to understand what you're looking at, you'll be able to find Christmas stuff at every estate sale, every rummage sale, and every garage sale. You might be able to find it at thrift stores. The stuff is out here is kind of what I'm trying to say is like if you apply yourself in learning what to look for, because that's the real value in reselling. It's understanding what signs to look for to find things that may not even have comps. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. I got my eBay pile already packed up. You got questions, drop them in the comments. If you want to look me up on eBay, I'll put it in the description down below. I know people probably like, oh, that's how people get on social media. Somebody commented on my last post and was like, how much did I get paid to do this? I get paid nothing. Just trying to help out. Please hit the like button. And if you haven't, subscribe. I need them subscriptions. All right, so I almost forgot. We'll see you on the next one.